Hi, I'm Leslie Harrison. I'm with Community Bridges to Success Incorporated. We're a not-for-profit organization that focuses on health and wellness. This is our Leave a Message After the Tone podcast. And I'm here with Mr. Johari James, aka Nova, founder and director of Str8outtabklyn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Leslie, what's up? Good seeing you.
I broke my glasses, so.
It's all good. We're going to make it happen. Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm honored. I also want to say that we're here at the Bronx Sanctuary in the Bronx campus. And this is a beautiful area, so I just want to give a shout out to that as well. And so, Mr. Nova.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Nova. I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm a dad, a young youth mentor, and I am the founder and director of Str8outtabklyn. Str8outtabklyn is a community organization that provides safe spaces for young people. To put it plainly, we work with young folks in different facets. We provide artist development workshops and professional vocational development workshops. We mentor young people in the life and in the arts. We showcase them through different concerts, through different events. We have different online platforms like Mic Check, where we showcase them through a video platform. We also do some management and artists, like a little bit more deeper into the workshop phase, where we do a little more artist development and management services for different artists. So we're all about, supporting young people, whether it be just in life or through the arts, and just providing safe spaces for them, whether that's in the studio or, different facilities that we work with. I partner with a lot of different organizations. I work with organizations like the Pro Experience, Sanitation Foundation, which we went through. So we do a lot of community work, cleanups, a variety of things. But we're all about the community and, all about the youth.
So I know that when we had talked earlier, you had said that I believe you were also an artist.
Right.
Right. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Nova was Supernova at one point, and so from young, 16, 17, rapping. I had a group that I was a part of called The Project. We had a whole collective, the New Rap Order, which we still, New Rap Order family is still, active, doing their thing. But around like 19, I would say 18, 19, we kind of took rapping more seriously. And put together a group, The Project. We got an independent deal with Glow in the Dark Records, which is a label out that was based in LA. And we put out a record, The Truth Today. Album, came out, didn't do that great, but we were able to experience what it was like to be recording artists and, go on at least one tour. We went on a little independent tour. And the shows all over the city, all over, the tri-state. And just really experienced that, and just really was able to just live that experience. Continued writing, I still record every now and then, but it definitely has morphed into more of the executive development, that side of things. Which, honestly, is a beautiful thing, because for me, that was always something that I did.
Right.
Back in those days, it was like CDs and stuff like that. So I was always into like making the production happen. I was booking the studio time, pressing the CDs, pressing the T-shirts, doing things like that. So I always kind of had the business mind, the macro viewpoint, so to speak. So, fast forward to now, it's kind of cool to just, be where I'm at now. But rapping, being an artist is definitely something that was always a passion of mine from young.
So I can only imagine when you were 18 and 19 as an artist, when you compare that to an artist now, the difference? Is it, I think the grind is different, it's a little harder from my understanding. You're really relying either on your record label, whereas now you have a lot of young kids with social media. It's like you're viral instantly.
Yes.
So does that mean that they don't get a chance to go through creative development, to have, you know, I guess, I don't know what happens when you were younger, if you're aligned with a label, all that encompasses, whereas though now I don't think kids have to deal with that. Am I correct?
That's correct. That I mean, a large part, that's correct. Artist development has largely gone by the wayside. It's not really something that people focus on now. You know, the internet, social media has allowed for you to go direct to consumer, which is a positive in a lot of ways. And you know, everything has its pluses and minuses. And the minus to it is that artists don't get a hands-on development, right? They don't get to understand the process really of how they get to superstardom. So you end up just kind of getting thrown out there and figuring out on your own. Which, you know, I mean, some artists succeed with that, and you know, a lot of artists don't. And it's, you know, a lot of times it's just like throwing something at the wall to see if it sticks. And that's what happens a lot with social media nowadays. But back then, I mean, you really had to. There were a lot more, you know. So a lot of times we talk about gatekeepers and things like that, and a lot of times we use those words, especially nowadays, like, you know, social media. You know, there's no more gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's what's better about it. Because back in the day, you had to go to somebody, and he had to like you, or she had to like you, and then you had to get signed, which is true.
Right.
You know, but one, I argue that you still have gatekeepers. So it's like, it is what it is, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you're still working with Spotify and TikTok and all these people right now are corporations that are right, and they're all dictating how and what the music is going to sound like, and you know, the algorithm and all of these things. So you're still working with some sort of entity. But to me, what was beneficial to the music industry back then, and we're not talking about even like artists getting paid and stuff like that, because the music industry is built off artists getting robbed. That's just the bottom line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there was no point in the music industry from the start to now where it's fair for artists as far as payment and stuff like that. But as far as the music, right, and the construction of the music and the constructing of the talent of the artist, you were being developed by people who at least were trusted musicians, right, and trusted quote unquote music people. Like there's something called like a music man, like someone that was in the industry and that lived and breathed music for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So he was the one that was signing you, right? So like, we could take his word for it. I mean, like, you know what I mean? I would. Like, I mean, you know, that doesn't mean that he or she's gonna always be right, but this person has a track record to say like, yo, this is good, or this is not good, or you should maybe like, you know, you need 3 years in artist development to learn how to speak to the media, because you know you show up to interviews hot.
Yes. So what is advice? What are some of the things that you are telling the young artists that you work with? What is the advice that you're giving them? Oh
man, it's a lot of advice. I mean, I think so. My workshop is called the Artist and Repertoire Workshop. The reason why it's called Artist and Repertoire, one, is because I've always wanted to, like I said before, I was an artist, but I've always had a quote-unquote executive sort of mind. So I always wanted to be an A&R in the music industry, because I always felt like I had an eye for like talent, and like I always kind of thought like what I thought sounded good was good, you know. So I named it Artist and Repertoire for one of those. That's one reason. But the other reason is because it's not just about artist development, it's really also about art and life. So the artist part obviously is the art, but then the repertoire part is like life.
Right.
And like, who are you as a person? How are you, what are your goals, and how are you going to navigate this path of music that you want to choose? Is this something that you want to do as a career? Is this a money grab? Do you just want to be famous? Do you really love music? Like, these are the things that that I start with before I even, you know, get to songwriting with an artist or recording or putting you on stage. because we got to figure out where you at. You have to figure out where you at.
Right.
You know, a lot of times you don't know. You want to do what you see someone doing. You want to do what your friend is doing, whatever. You may have a talent. Just because you can rap, that doesn't mean you should be a rapper, right? Doesn't mean the rap lifestyle is for you. Doesn't mean the music industry is for you. So it's a lot of these things and questions that should be asked to young people, right, before you embark on this career. So yeah, those are some of the questions. There's really a lot of questions that I ask, and I tell them, to like try to be as balanced as possible. Try to understand that, it's not just about music. Success is really based on being focused and disciplined, and having a plan. And that's sticking to the plan is what we call discipline.
Right.
So you see a lot of times you see artists that are famous and they've been successful. It's not necessarily because they're the most talented person. It's because they know how to be disciplined and stick it out. A lot of the artists that are, that want to, drink every night and smoke weed every night or whatever it may be, you don't last that long.
Right,
because
exactly.
Physically you just can't do it. You just can't do it. So stop. You just can't do it. So I have a 5-year-old, and I'm a full-time dad. So you know what I mean. That's the lifestyle. But yeah, you can't. I tell artists all the time, like you have to be focused. You show up to the studio. And one of the things I tell them all the time, like, if you come to the studio, do you need a parade of people with you?
Mm-hmm.
And if that you got a parade of people with you, are they contributing to the studio session?
Mm-hmm.
And that just goes into everything you do, right? Like, how are these people contributing? So as you grow in life, you have to figure out, who you got with you. Are they contributing? Are they taking away from what you're doing? All those things are going to be important, and that's just one of the main things we talk about.
I can only imagine that even then, back then, and even now, just trying to maintain or trying to become an artist can be very taxing mentally on someone. Social media, trying to keep up, street cred, trying to balance. I don't know if you're in school or work, and even like you said, you're a single dad. I know you through doing community service. You're doing that. You're running your own foundation. You're working with young artists. How do you handle or balance your health and wellness?
Well, yeah, that's a great. Well, I'm not a single dad.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm not a single dad, but I mean, she's my shadow, so she's with me everywhere, pretty much. But that's a great question. I think even when we were talking about before, like when you were younger, you don't really think about health and wellness.
Right.
You just think about getting on. You want to make it, right? However you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it. I think as you get older, obviously, hopefully, right, you start to think more about your health and you start to think more about balance. Having a kid really made that official for me. Where
Right.
it's like, okay, the lifestyle that, at least the way I look at it, and the things that I need to do to be successful in music aren't conducive to the lifestyle that I want to have with having a child.
Right.
So I have to, so it's difficult, right? Like, because rap, you know what I mean? And anything that you really want to do, you make sacrifices for. Sacrifice as simple as just like, you're going to go to this event, at midnight. Like, it's a show, right? You got to be out at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
You're a rapper. You got to be out. You might be out till 3 in the morning. Well, like, is it worth it? You know what I mean? Like, you got to start making these decisions really about your life. Like, okay, I'm going to be out till 3 in the morning. How much am I getting paid? Like, is this worth me, the risk?
Right.
It might be dangerous. All these different things you have to take into account, so you start to make better decisions. But when you're younger, you really don't. Mm-hmm. So that's why, like I said, those questions, right? Like, you really have to start to question the route you want to take, the type of music you're making, the path you want to take when you're younger, to really say, okay, all right, this is where I'm going to be at. These are calculated risks that I'm taking, because they're all going to be risks.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you just really have to think about it. So balance and health and wellness, I would tell artists that the music, the creative aspect is definitely important. but there's nothing more important in your life.
Mhm.
You know, and you can't make music and you can't do those things and have fun if you're not thinking about your health and if you're not living your life. You know what I mean? Having relationships, trying to be good in your relationships. You know, I tell artists all the time, you know, having a job, you know what I mean? Like you didn't make it yet.
Right.
Right. Make
Exactly.
sure you're working, make sure you're doing something, you know, that can support yourself, because what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You're gonna be out here, you know, you don't wanna be a starving artist, you know what I mean? Like you wanna be functioning and to be able to do your music and you know, figuring out a way. Like maybe, you know, you can't work full time because you still got to do your studio stuff or whatever it be, but keep creating a balance,
Right.
you know, and having a plan and being disciplined, because if not, you know, you find yourself with a lot of mistakes, you know, I made, like, you know, you work, you got money, you're spending it on studio time, on videos, on clothes, on all these things that go into being an artist because it's very expensive, but you're also not planning.
Right.
Right, so you just spending, hoping that like one day this video blow up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just spending, hoping that one day, you know what I'm saying, something catch on. You're not planning and saying, okay, I'm going to spend $5,000 on this, right? Because and I have it budgeted out. So this is what I'm going to do, and this is calculated. And from this $5,000, I want to make this much back. I want to make the money back, or I know I'm not going to make anything back because it's just an investment.
Right.
Like whatever it may be, having that mindset is very important. And that's part of your wellness too as an artist, because a lot of artists just go crazy, man. Like a lot of us, we just, you know, you just burn out. You know, you just burn out because you like, shit, I just spent, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry, but you know, I just spent, you know, all this money, all this time, you know what I mean? And now I haven't made it or whatever it may be. You know, there's a lot of memes that go around about the guy that's still, you know, selling his mixtape, you know what I mean? And the girlfriend is like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm supporting you through all of this, right? And you don't want to be that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't want to be that. Like, you want to be self-sufficient. You want to be able to have realistic goals as well. You know what I mean? All of that goes into the mental health of an artist. You know, having realistic goals, understanding that you're not going to blow up, even though there's TikTok, and even though you can blow up. If I put out a song tonight, tomorrow I could possibly blow up, but am I ready for it? What does the blow up mean? You know, so all of those things with mental health, and I think with artists, you know, as well as your physical health, you know, staying healthy, obviously eating right, and not, you know, consuming, you know, illicit drugs and things like that. That's a big thing with artists. A lot of, you know, young artists, you know, smoke weed, and, you know, a lot of them are popping pills and doing things like that. And it's very important that they understand that, you know, yeah, those things are euphoric and they feel good and they may make you write a dope song for the moment, but, you know, it's nothing like addiction. You know what I mean? And there's no song that's worth addiction.
Exactly. Exactly. When I was also asking about your health and wellness, you know, just historically, period, black men just, you know, you don't take care of your health. Until sometimes it's just too late. And that plays a big part also. When I can only imagine if you're mentoring you for some of the advice that you might be giving young men, you know, but even as yourself, do you know, and going to the doctor and making sure you're doing your regular checkups and staying healthy, eating healthy, staying physically active, but also being in tune, because that has really robbed us of a lot of black men.
Absolutely.
Not focusing on your health, not just being with the right friends, but just really doing a yearly checkup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, yeah.
Just something like that. So is that something that, you know, not to put you under pressure, but is that something that you've been able to just stay in tune and give that advice and, you know?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, personally, that's definitely the eating healthy is a struggle for me. I mean, I'm slim, but I definitely don't eat the healthiest, and I try to, you know, balance it out by staying physically active, you know, by running and, you know, playing ball as much as I can. So I do that, you know, and stay with my smoothies and try to balance it out. But yeah, you know, I do tell the young people, especially the young guys that I work with, about staying healthy, staying active. I think one of the things that is lost on a lot of the young people nowadays is like they don't stay active. Right. So I talk to them a lot about, 17, 18 years old, and I'm like, yo, like the park is empty. Like you guys aren't physically active. Like I knew I was when I was 17, 18. Yeah, we was rapping, but we was in the park rapping every day. So we would play ball all day and then rap. So it was like, it was just a lifestyle for us at that age. And one thing, at least for me personally, I'm big on going to the doctor. So I stay at the doctor, but but stay in checkups and stuff like that. But I'm not just stay at the doctor. But yeah, like I definitely make sure I get my checkups and things like that. And yeah, that's definitely something though, as you say it, that I feel like I should even hone in more with, young people. I know one of the main things I do stress to them, like I said before, is about drug use. I think that for me, that comes up a lot. Even this week, I give you a quick story. Like I had a little rant on Instagram, and because I take my daughter to school every morning, and one of the things that I noticed, and I'm sure everyone noticed, obviously, is the smoke shops everywhere. And on the way to school, there's young people that are in the smoke shop, and it's such a problem, and it just really gets me so, pissed off, you know what I'm saying? So, I end up this week, these young girls couldn't be more than, they definitely weren't 13, they might have been, 11, 12, you know what I mean? And I just finished dropping her off, and I'm walking back to the train, and a story on that, I don't take the train. I took the train with her today because we came to the Bronx, but I don't take the train with her because the train is just madness, right? So I take the train back home. So now I'm walking back to the train, and we have to pass this smoke shop, and the little girl, she sees me, she makes eye contact, and she's like, are you busy? Were you busy? And I was like, yeah, and I just kept walking, right? Because I knew what they wanted.
When people go inside.
Right? But then I stopped, and I was like, and I turned around, and I said, yeah, but what you want? Because I already knew what she wanted. And she was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I want to know if if I give you some money, could you go in there? I was like, no. And hold on. Oh, yeah, come over here right now. So it's like 5 of them. And I was just like, yeah, what y'all doing right now, y'all bugging out. Y'all don't know what they got in there, what kind of marijuana. Right now, marijuana is being laced and it's being compromised by all sorts of chemicals.
That's right.
You guys do not know what you're doing. You do not know me. And you should not be out here right now trying to buy any marijuana. Right? And y'all, and I said some other, I just really told them straight up. When I'm talking to young people, you're going to get I ain't mincing my words, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to just give it to you. So I'm going to give it to you straight like it is, you know what I'm saying? I can take your money right there and come out with something right now to change your whole life. You smoke this one blunt right now, it's over for you. It's over for you, young lady. You know what I'm saying? And I told them just like that because I was so tight because I'm looking at them and all I can see is my 5-year-old. And I'm like, they're 12. So back to health and wellness, that's some of the things that really stress to these young people because it's like, yo, all of them 13, 14, 15, once they hit that 16, 17, 18 age, they want to start smoking weed because it's cool, this, that, and the third.
Right.
But especially nowadays, 2023, that is not the thing that you want to just do at all, but specifically randomly in that way of just going to a store.
Right.